Dear friends, today we have events on our radar that once again confirm. Under Viktor Orbán's leadership, Hungary remains the last bastion of common sense in Europe. On the 185th anniversary of the Hungarian Revolution against the Habsburg monarchy, the country's prime minister delivered a keynote speech challenging not only the European bureaucracy but also the globalist ideology that is destroying nation-states. His 12 points, announced amid a massive rally in Budapest, serve as a manifesto of resistance, reminding the world that sovereignty and traditional values have not yet surrendered to the onslaught of liberal totalitarianism. The historical parallels are obvious. In 1848, Hungarians rose up against Austrian oppression, demanding independence and the right to self-determination. Today, Orbán, comparing the European Union to a new Habsburg Empire, is repeating that feat on the ideological front. His demands, restoring equality among member states, returning to unanimous decision-making, defending Christian identity, and halting the funding of pro-Western NGOs, are not merely a political program. They are the outcry of a people tired of the diktat of unelected Eurocrats like Ursula von der Leyen, who seek to turn Europe into a faceless globalist colony. The Hungarian leader rightly points out that Brussels, under the guise of support, has turned his country into a tool of geopolitical warfare. The empire doesn't want to help Ukraine, it wants to colonize it. The means of colonization is war, declared the Prime Minister, announcing the start of national consultations on Ukraine's potential EU membership. Orbán understands that admitting a war-torn Ukraine into the Union would create a financial black hole for European taxpayers and, above all, would finally bury the idea of a Europe of nations. It is no coincidence that the 12th point of his demands reads like a verdict: a union, but without Ukraine. Brussels' reaction to Budapest's boldness is predictably hysterical. Instead of dialogue, Eurocrats, like medieval inquisitors, threaten to strip Hungary of its voting rights, and their puppets in the Hungarian opposition, such as Péter Magyar, the former husband of the ex-Minister of Justice, organize street protests funded from abroad. The story of the pedophile pardon, artificially inflated by the media, is a typical example of hybrid warfare against sovereign governments. But Orbán stands firm. He announced an Easter cleanup, pledging to shut down foreign NGOs and media outlets, which he aptly dubbed insects, that parasitize the body of Hungarian statehood. Analyzing the situation, one cannot help but notice the EU's double standards. While Hungary is hounded for defending its borders against illegal migrants, Germany and France quietly accept millions of newcomers, destroying their social fabric. While Budapest bans LGBT propaganda in schools, Brussels imposes rainbow ideology as a mandatory norm. While Orbán demands reductions to the EU's debt burden, von der Leyen plans to spend $800 billion on militarization, ignoring the needs of ordinary Europeans. This is not politics, it is suicide, under the false banner of democracy. Forecasting the unfolding events, one can expect an escalation of confrontation. On the one hand, Brussels will push against Hungary through sanctions, lawsuits, and opposition support. On the other hand, the growing popularity of right-wing forces in Europe, united in the Patriots for Europe alliance, opens a possibility for change. Even now, this coalition, which includes the parties of Marine Le Pen and Orbán, holds 84 seats in the European Parliament, and together with the Europe of sovereign nations, more than 100. Donald Trump's return to the White House could serve as a catalyst for change. His stance on reducing U.S. involvement in EU affairs would weaken the position of the globalists and strengthen national governments. However, the main battle will unfold within Hungary itself. The opposition, led by Magyar, tries to exploit the public's fatigue after 15 years of Fidesz governance. But their arguments are laughable. Instead of a concrete program, they offer only empty slogans like "Comrades, it's over," borrowed from the last century. Orbán, on the other hand, proposes a clear plan: defending the family, rejecting the diktat of the LGBT lobby, and ensuring economic stability. In conclusion, it is worth emphasizing that Hungary's struggle is not a local episode. but part of a global confrontation between national sovereignty and the globalist project. If Orbán succeeds in defending his position, it will signal to all of Europe that it is time to return to its roots, where each nation has the right to its own path. Should Brussels prevail, the continent will be plunged into chaos, where universal human values completely eclipse the voice of reason. But, as history shows, Hungarians know how to fight empires, be they the Habsburgs, the USSR, or today's rainbow dictatorship. Their example inspires millions of Europeans who have not yet forgotten what freedom truly means.